Good evening. Edith Wilson, can you hear me clear in the back there? All right. I've not been known for a quiet voice. Edith Wilson moved to Arizona Territory from New York, and after meeting Charles Walker Ruffner, they married on June 11th, 1907. Through her marriage to Charles Ruffner, Edith became my ancestor, and she was a remarkable woman. I'd like to share her story with you now. My name is Melissa Ruffner. Charles Ruffner was an engineer and superintendent of the Little Jack mine in McCabe, deep in the Bradshaw Mountains. He and Edith bore 3 children, Florence, Frances, and baby Charles, who was just 1 month old when his father, Charles, died of kidney cancer. For almost a year after the death of her husband, Edith struggled to raise her children and keep them safe in a remote, rugged mining town. Edith moved her children to Prescott, the county seat, and finally convinced the owner of the OK Meat Market to hire her. Despite long hours collecting overdue bills in all parts of the town, Edith was not happy to hear of a proposed law limiting the number of hours that a woman might work. Edith wrote to the Weekly Journal Miner, and her words were printed on March 26th, 1913. Editor, regarding proposed legislation regulating working hours for women, I wish to present this phase of the situation. Will shorter hours benefit women? My own case, if you will permit a personal reference, will illustrate the point. 1 year ago, I was left penniless. I was left with 3 young children, and my case is only 1 in 10,000. I had only one idea, and that was to enter the working world and take my place besides those of equal capabilities, both men and women. My friends held their breath. How could a woman imagine such a thing? Weak little thing. I must have help from the county or give my children away? Little they reckoned with a real woman, and if that doesn't sound like a Ruffner woman, I've never heard of it. There was only one solution, and that was to fill what was considered a man's place. My present position with the OK Meat Market was only attained after vehemently reassuring the man that I expected to do a man's work just as well as a man. He argued I could not ask a woman to work 10 hours a day. What does he think women do with 4 children? 3 children. Nor go into all parts of the town. I swore that I could do it and would do it, and there are some who will say that I have done it. When you pass your law cutting down women's hours and the boss hands me my paycheck, shrunk like last year's undershirt, and you say, "I told you so," what do you think I'm going to do? Cry? No. Get my friends to help me? No. I am going to keep on working just as many hours as needs demand. And you will have to have several men added to your police force. Perhaps a strong man or two. Thanking you for your valuable space in your newspaper, I beg to remain Mrs. Edith Ruffner. When Edith moved to Prescott, one of the friends she made was Frances Lillian Willard Munns. Considering Edith's difficult situation, she could not have made a better friend. Mrs. Munns was a member of the Arizona Woman Equal Suffrage Organization. Yeah. And Edith was a perfect example of her group's declaration. Quote, "We shall band together in a nonpartisan body to carry out the plans for ideal legislation for women and children especially," end quote. Edith was a perfect example of a widow with children who had stated in Prescott's newspaper that she would and could, quote, "enter the world, the working world, and work as hard as a man," to be able to care for those beloved children. And it would certainly be an improvement over collecting overdue accounts in all parts of the town, which included Whiskey Row and the brothels behind the row, where fights were often a daily occurrence. Fanny Munn suggested Edith run for a county office, which would provide Edith with the financial stability that she so strongly craved to care for her beloved children. Edith's campaign slogan ran, "Vote for the miner's widow." Are you not going to vote for the miner's widow? She chose that in honor of her late husband, who was a well-known man with the Little Jack mine. And so she decided to go to all parts of this enormous county and find votes for the miner's widow. Thank you.